Okay, give me the screen sharing, my friend.
Yep. Just doing a little muting right quick, because I don't think I'll be able to do that before or after.
I think you did it, Sam.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, I'm still looking at the clock because I know people are going to be popping in a little bit later. So I'll just leave the student screen up there and
For sure.
people can kind of look through it and say, oh, isn't that nice?
Yes, sir. We're up to 18 participants. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Hi.
So Bob, because I've made you the host, you may need to do the initial muting out. I did what I could before handing over controls. So you may need to do that here. The chat feature, I will hit that again in just a second so everybody knows where that is. If you guys have questions during the presentation, I'll either write them down or ask them to Bob outright, and because he has kind of a cadence, and I've worked with Bob well enough to know kind of where he's going next. So a lot of times when we have questions, he's about to cover that. So Bob, are you about ready?
And we also have Nan on here, so we'll definitely have Nan and Kelly at the end. So it's interesting. We'll be able to do actually true live chat.
Yeah. How about this? So this is whenever you guys are doing the chat feature, this is who you get. You get well, sometimes you get these two or Jenny or somebody else that's on the chat. Seems like I've been talking to Jenny a lot lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever you want to give me the thumbs up, Sam.
Yeah, Bob, I think we're about ready to get it going. So an introduction, guys, welcome. We appreciate everybody attending. We are doing these webinar Wednesdays for a number of reasons. The primary reason is to provide extra training for our customers, but also for people that are maybe looking at the system and want to see what we offer in a non-sales kind of environment. Bob, you're going to be in charge of the muting out right quick.
Yeah.
Everybody's microphones, just because.
Actually, they can just mute themselves. That's fine, Sam.
Yep.
You know.
Okay.
I have a question. I had some problems with my router. I don't know, with EZRouting. I don't know what's going on there. I tried to chat and I couldn't even chat to try to fix the problem. I don't know what it is. I just lost like all the contacts. I can't find the students list there. I was watching some videos this morning and yesterday, and I can see them. I don't know if you guys can see my screen, but all the students are gone.
Okay, we can.
Yeah, you can shoot us an email at support@ezrouting.com. We can schedule a meeting one-on-one with you to look at your issues.
Okay, perfect.
We'll get you fixed up for sure.
Yeah, you got the right people on this today. That's for sure. You couldn't ask for anybody better.
Don't you worry.
So,
Thank
well,
you.
hopefully
Yeah.
that don't happen to me, because that'd be pretty horrible. I'm supposed to be talking about the students, and all of a sudden all my students disappear.
I know I didn't touch anything, but I was watching videos and I tried to go back and say what's going on here.
I see Nan smiling. I think that's an easy fix. So after we get done with this, she will have you fixed up and you should be on your way.
Thank you so much.
Those of you who are on here who do have students on your map, there are many things that you can see on here, and some of the things that I thought was exciting. Let me just give you a quick background about myself. Been with the company, I think it's going on maybe about a year and a half. And when I got in here and I started looking at things, I was very impressed with all of the different ways that you could look at things. And the things we're going to concentrate on today is going to be the students. And once I looked at this, I said, well, this is very nice the way the layout is. You have the students over here on this side. Then you have these, I call them bubbles. You can see different things in here. And so I said, oh, what happens if I click on this? And I said, oh, that's nice. I can see there's 58 students, which that number is telling me. And it tells me all the different schools. So I have a curious mind. And so my curious mind says, is there any other way to look at these students besides just looking at them here? And so, of course, I send off a little message to Nan and her team, and I say, can we see this maybe in a thematic type of way, maybe in a way that we can look at it in different colors and stuff? And I'd say in a very short period of time, they came up with this. So you may not be familiar with this, or you may, but if we do show students by school, and I click on this, now all of a sudden, let me click over here so we can get out of the way. All of this is showing me a list of the students, by color codes. And as we go in here, we can see that these are the CRM elementary school. And if we click over here, you can see this McCaskey, and it matches evenly with this. How did I get into that? I went into the operations. I went here, show students by school. If you don't want all the colors, you just turn it off. So that's one of the areas that we can look at. And here, it's just amazing how fast this information comes up. Other information we have here also is show the school boundaries. So, and here we can click on this, and this is going to show every single school boundary that we have in here, shows up on the map. Well, perhaps you're not looking at all of the school boundaries. You just want to look at a specific school boundary. So click on here, and then go down, and I'm going to pick on just this one. How about we look at Lincoln Middle School, and we'll show that boundary. So that boundary is going to show up for us. All these things are available for you when you're in the student part, and it has all various areas. We can also show the walk zones. You can show restrictions, custom regions. So those of you who want to really dissect things on the map and like looking at things on the map, it's right here, right for you. I happen to be a Windows type of a person, and in Windows, if you do a right mouse click, different things pop up for you. So if you right mouse click on here on this map, here it says directions from here, directions to here. I'm going to show you how to do that, how to measure directions, calculate the walkout from here. Well, let's do that first. We're going to go over here, and this happens to be Lincoln Middle School. So if I click on calculate the walkout from here, whatever your policies are, whatever your walkout policies are, you can put it in here. I happen to put 1 mile, and so we just click on it, watch what happens on the screen. So now we have, oh, it moved over to here. And so now we have that 1 mile. How did I do that? I went in, right mouse clicked. I went on to here, and I said I wanted to see the information for the calculate the walk. Whenever you have something on your map and you're doing extra, this is a different layer that's coming on. You can click this clear button, and it's gone. It's right there. One more right mouse click here. Let's look at directions from here. Let's say we're looking at students. I'm going to zoom in, and we have 2 students here. And we're looking at is if we had a bus stop that was up there. So I'm going to go click on this student. I'm going to say I want to see directions from here. So directions from here. Actually, let's say the bus stop is up here, and I want to see directions to there. So we can do this, and it does that. The nice thing that it does as well, it tells me right down here what the distance is. So it's 426 feet. And if I click on this, it tells me it's going to take 2 minutes. So if you have a stop up there, and I can do the same thing with this student, and you want to know how long will it take them to walk to the stop, very simple to do. And class, how do we clear this? Easy, right mouse click, clear. That's how that gets out of there. Another right mouse click in here. We also have an open street view. So wherever I happen to be, I can look at the street view, and it's going to bring up the information. And hopefully the Google guy drove down this street. So we can look at this. It's a nice way to be able to see information, especially if you're putting routes in and you want to know this. You can see this is a double-lined road, and it looks like it might be an okay place to put a stop, but it gives you a better way to look at it. You also have your satellite map. So the satellite map is going to be on at all times, and you're going to get your parcels and your points that are in here. So we're in the student area, but we're looking at the map. We're looking at all the different areas that we can do in the map. How do students get into the system? Students get into the system from your student information system. So whatever student information system you have, and Sam and I tease about this a lot, I say it's anything from A to Z. It doesn't matter what your student information system. So all your students will be put in here. And all of us that are on this call today understand that you want to be able to, I call it like dissecting, or in the computer world, it's called filtering. So what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to filter students and get different information about these students in here. So the information that we have already is built in by Nan's team, the brilliant minds that they have, and also us studying what's going on out there in the transportation world. What do we need to see? What are some of the things that are always happening? How do we want to narrow down things for the students? So these are your general filters that are in here, and you can see all the different ones. Here are your students that are riders. Are there any transportation programs? Sometimes students are just taking a van. Bus schedules, are they routed, partially routed, unrouted? Can you imagine if you had to figure this all out by yourself? But no, we give you these filters. They're there automatically for you. We're going to look a little bit later on. We're going to look at what a family ID is. I'll probably go back to this filter and show you how we can use it. Different contacts, all these things are in here. Now, if we didn't think of enough things, there's also what are called custom filters. These are filters. Once you put things into the program, you can actually add these in. So as I was starting to learn the program, and I was, obviously all of us are going through the COVID, and we're going through the different ways of doing things. I found out that I can go and look at things and I can say, oh, I want to do a filter and show me the students that are A through L last name. Went from 1,500 students down to 813 students. Show them on here. All these different filters, I can just go in here and change them. If I want to clear it, similar to the right mouse click I did before, I just X here and I'm back to where I was. All these user-defined filters are here too. Sam will understand this one, and Sam's probably got a big smile on his face now. We did a really outstanding Christmas video. It was the night before Christmas, and we had to sort the students out because Santa had to deliver the presents by bus, not by sled, because his sled broke down. So we came up with user-defined fields. That's why you see these things, naughty or nice. And these are just, you got to have some fun, right? I mean, it's a tough job. So naughty or nice, look at that. We have all these students, 1,497 students that are naughty or nice. Must be a really, really good area. So I'm in the student area. I'm looking at the map. I'm letting the map help me out with things that I can see. I'm a very visual type of person. It helps me out tremendously. But then what we can do is we can start going into the actual information that we have with the students themselves. Students here are in alphabetical order. If I want to find a student by, say, a last name here, I can just do that. That happens to be my last name. So it comes up, I just hit STON. And now I have 22 students that have anything, either the student with STON or the stop or something has that in there, and I can clear it. So that's a search. Use it anytime you want, and you can narrow it down to whatever you want to have. One of the things that you want to be able to do here, you want to be able to have your dispatcher have information very quickly. So if you have a dispatcher who's answering the phone, and let's just say it's mom's calling in about Alan, and they want to know about the bus route. Dispatcher doesn't have to go into the deep part of the program, just has to click on this part right here, and it's going to bring it up. So I can say, well, Sam, can you pronounce the last name, Mrs. Acevedo?
Acevedo. It's Alan Acevedo.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. So we have a bus route on Tuesday and Thursday. 637 South Ann Street is going to be the pickup at 8:10. Make sure your students out there and based a few minutes early as well. 135 North Shippen, and this is the route that's going to be coming in the daytime. I noticed that your student is scheduled to go to Rainbow Daycare Center. All of that information is just right here by the click. All I did was click on that, and it gave that information to me. The other area that I want to cover is how do we communicate information to parents, when there might be an emergency or something that we want to get over to the parents very, very quickly so that they know what's going on. So anytime we come into here, you can see this is, I can edit the student, but if I come over to here, this is sending a message. I'll pick on Alan again. And so I'm going to click here. And what happens is it brings this up and I can send a message. It can be an email, it can be a text message. And this is telling me it's going to go to the primary contact. If we have multiple contacts, I would click on this. You just say yes to it. If I want to send a message to the driver, any of these others. Instantaneous information can go out. If it's an email, it's going to go to their email address. If they have a phone and you want to send a text message, text messages would be things you want to have it so it pings their phone and they can get that information right away. An email might be just something that, you know, they just need something that's not as quick to do. So for instance, if you want to send a bus schedule and it's a bus schedule that's going to be sent out, it's not changing anything, you can do that. So these are things that we have in here, communications to the parents. And then what we want to do is we want to say, what happens when we do communicate to these parents? How much information can we find? So I'm going to pick on somebody else here. I'm going to pick on this student here, go into my edit screen. All the information you want to know about the student is here. This is whatever your SIS system is, student information system. It pops in here for us. We also have what are called QR codes. So QR code is here. Those of you who have our tablets would be using this for the students to scan on and off the bus. Excellent way of doing it. It's right here automatically, no additional cost besides the cost of just printing it, or others, some school districts will have this right on their phone. So this is going to give the driver, those of you who have tablets, the ability to have the student scan on, and that information for the student will be right there for them. This particular student, we're going to come down here and we're going to look at the communication history. Anytime you sent an email out, which it looks like I've sent emails out, it's going to be recorded here. Tells you the time that you sent it out and says what you sent. So if you want to ever go back and look at things, that information is right here for you. So the communication history, I usually, when I'm looking at things, I kind of make the area of the students smaller. So right now, that's your general thing. I'm looking at everything for that student, but I can just crunch it like this. I can say, I want to look at the addresses, all the addresses. And speaking of addresses, you can have as many addresses as you want. I have my home address for this. We have grandpa's house. I can add my PM location, as many addresses as you want. I used to tease when I was talking to people. I said, well, the reason you have yellow is because you're a taxi service. You're taxiing people all over the place. You have all these different locations. So if you need to keep track of where people are, where their addresses are, it's right here. We want to drop down here to where the bus schedules are. At the moment, this student is not routed. It tells you right here in the top part here. So we want to see, are there any buses that are going by? Is there any way that I can go without getting into the routing map? Can I actually route this student? Is it possible to stay on the student tab and be able to do it? Well, typically the answer is yes. So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to look at the information and see where it says search and add a bus schedule. And these little circles that are coming up right there, that means I have a video. We won't look at the video, but those of you who are clients, make sure you take advantage of the videos. So we're going to search and add for any kind of bus schedules that are here. And this shows you all the different locations that this student can get on. Bus 16 all the way down here. These are all my AM parts, and it has different walk. So you see 0.2 miles, 0.2, 644 feet. Truly depends on what the student is. If it's a grade school student, you may not want them to walk as far. So this one, you may pick this bus right here. So that's my AM bus. And I just picked it. And you see it actually showed right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. On the map, it actually shows the route. Let's scroll down and see if there's anything interesting. A lot of examples in here. And see if there's anything that we can pick for that same student for the afternoon. My gosh, Sam, even you could do this one, 2 feet. That'd be a good one right there.
That's within my walking distance. I could make that, Bob.
I thought you could.
Step it out.
I honestly thought you could. And if I hit the accept, then what I did was I'm going to change this particular student from routed to unrouted. If we had different times of the week, because this is a calendar-based program, I can pick the days of the week that I want the student to go. But let's just hit the accept. So it still says that I'm unrouted because I have not done one last thing, which is to save. But the nice thing now, we're looking at the calendar and we can see the different areas that the student is going to be on the bus, 7:11, bus 16, 7:35 dropped off, 3:15, bus 16 picked up at the school, 3:46 dropped off at 136 Crystal Street. Very, very fast the way you can do that. So I want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. If I hit the save button right now, yep. So I'm not going to save that one because I didn't validate the addresses and stuff. So we'll just leave the bus schedule the way it is. Uh-oh, that's Bob silencing his phone. Hang on. Silence. Here we go. Sorry about that. Now I got to silence my cell phone because it'll ring on my cell phone next. Okay, we're back here. Bus schedule. Told you my cell phone would go. Turn that off. So the communication history we went through student info. Student info is something that you're going to be putting in here. I just copied a bunch of things from what I saw, but the student info and is an area where you can have as much information as you want in here. As soon as you start clicking any of these, and you can add more of these in here, that student's going to have these, and you'll see it on the driver sheet. We'll see it, and we'll see it also on here. And we can also put driver notes. We can put comments. If I put this as an alert, that's going to pop up when I get into the student's information here. And this right down here, these are all different attachments that we can have for the student. I just happen to put their route schedules in here, but you could have, if they were had any kind of misbehaving on the bus or anything that you needed, you can put those attachments in here as well. So we're going through the different areas that we have in here, an amazing amount of information in the student tab. We just click this here, all the different addresses. Now, a transportation plan. A transportation plan is our way of doing the multiple days, putting a student onto a bus. So if I add a transportation plan here, I can go here, I can select a pickup stop, and I just start typing. I'll just start typing anything at all. We'll say 3K 113 here. Select the drop off. This particular drop off, if it's dropping off at the student's attending school, you just start typing ATT, and it's going to pick up the students attending school. Then I'm going to go in here. I'm going to say what time. We're going to get this student up pretty early in the morning. 6:20. That's not you, Sam, is it? Yeah, you'd probably be up by then. Then what we can also do here, this is something that perhaps the support team will talk a little bit more about, but this has been here since when I started to repeat every week. I can do Monday, I can do Wednesday, I can do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you can do whatever. You can go in here, but this custom is something that was definitely added on new. And I'm gonna have them talk about this a little bit. I know you can go on the map and you can do custom things in here. You can just click on certain areas, and I'm outside the range here. So I'm gonna let my support people talk about this a little bit more. I'm also gonna have them talk about tracking. It's with the COVID, a lot of things that we're doing, we had to do the contact tracing. So you wanted to know which student was on the bus. If that student, unfortunately, did get sick or had COVID, you can actually say who else was on the bus. So I will have either Kelly or Nan talk about what we do for the tracking of the students. So that's something else. So what we started with when we first started out, we started out talking with the students on the left-hand side with the data, the mapping on the right-hand side, the right mouse clicking, how we can do the directions and how to do other things in here. And we also went into the operations, and we saw some of the different operations that we have. So we didn't want to have a long, typically I try to keep my webinars to about 20 minutes or so, and I'm looking at the clock, that's about where we're at. So that's what we have with the students. There are definitely more things that are in there. My recommendation always is to come into here, and I would hit the chat button if you have questions. And we got the live chat people today. It's kind of interesting. Or come over here and just go to the user's guide. The user's guide is right here, and we're talking about students. It's an amazing amount of information that you can get. And if you want to have a tour guide, this tour guide is right there. It'll walk you through every single thing you wanted to know about what we happen to be in, which is the students. So that's the areas that I wanted to cover today. We did record this. We are recording this, as a matter of fact, so that we can definitely give this to you another time, because I know I kind of went over things. But what I'd like to do, if Nan or Kelly, if you're available, I'd like to have you, and Sam, I think you're going to have to, maybe you have to give them control, or will they have control?
I think you got to do it, Bob.
I got to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, pressure.
So the other thing is, just to summarize, we're trying to do more with less. The filters gives you the ability to filter what you're looking at, and he does most of his work in the operations. The cool thing is too, when we get into other tabs, they work the same way. Right, Bob?
Absolutely, yeah. So every single, and I turn mine off. I'll let our talented team discuss that. But every single part that you saw here, it's going to break down, and we'll do different webinars on this as well. It'll break down differently with with the filters. The filters, if we were in the routes, would be on the routes. If they were in other areas, it'd be on that. But I find, honestly, and I've been talking a lot with Kelly and also with Nan, that you can get quite a bit from the student tab. You can get an amazing amount of information from it. You can almost park there overnight. The one thing that I forgot to do, if you guys bring it on, you can have multiple tabs open at the same time. So you can have your students tab open and your routing tab open, or multiple ones open as well. But that's my time to talk, and I want to have Kelly. Kelly's got a big smile on her face. She says she can show some things. Kelly is phenomenal. She's a person who I've learned quite a bit from, and if you listen to the little bit of time that she wants to spend some time, I think you'll learn something as well.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no problem.
So Kelly, I made you host right quick too, so you can do your screen. Okay, great.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, Bob had actually set up for me. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about some different features that we have in the Students tab, including some of the things that Bob had mentioned we would cover. So we're going to start by talking about the custom recurrence. This is something that we've just recently added in the past few months in an effort to make your schedule basically totally flexible and totally customizable, so that we truly have calendar-based routing. You can literally change the schedule down to the individual date. So for example, you'll see my student here has 3 different bus schedules. She's 1 for the morning and 2 for the afternoon. Now, I know someone asked in the chat, like, what would you do if student has an every other week schedule? We see this a lot. Students have, 2 home addresses, or just any different type of scheduling arrangement. So for that, we can go into the recurrence here, and you could set each schedule to recur basically every 2 weeks, and then change the dates so that they would have alternating weeks, say with mom and with dad. You can also change the days of the week, like Bob showed you. You can even pick that you want to schedule, just say they have the same schedule on the 23rd of every month. You would be able to set that. You could say it's monthly on the 1st Wednesday, the 3rd Wednesday, whatever you might like. And we've recently added this custom option. So it's in the drop-down menu. And that gives you a calendar. Say if they send you a list of days and say, my kid needs to go to daycare just on the 18th and the 22nd and March 9th. You would be able to select those 3 specific days, or whatever else you wanted. You could just select them. You can hit this button to invert your selection. And then we just click save. And now her bus schedule has been adjusted so that for those 5 days that are selected, and it shows us here that we have 5 days picked, she'll be going to daycare. So you can really customize things down to the individual day, to any sort of different recurrence that you might have. So it's truly calendar-based routing. Now, we also wanted to show you a little bit more about using our search and add feature. So a lot of you are probably familiar with using the search and add if you've been with us for a while. It's usually the easiest way to add student bus schedules from within a student record. But say I have this student here, he has transportation plans that tell you precisely where he's going to be picked up and dropped off. So I'm going to click search and add, and I see that there's no bus route found. There's nothing that includes his stop. In this case, because John already has a planned stop, we can check this box up here that will say add planned stop to a route. So this will tell the system, give me, options if I added his stop to a route as a brand new stop, what would that look like? And I'll see that there's a bunch of different choices. We see this red plus sign that tells you that the stop would be added to that route. It will tell us precisely when he would be picked up, when he gets to school, and how much time that would add to this specific bus trip, which is really helpful for us to know. It'll also tell you how many kids are on board the bus in case you need to keep that in mind. So for John, I'm going to pick bus 28. And we'll see in just a moment now, the bus route here has just appeared by his house. So this dashed line we see is the change that will be made to the route by adding John. So you'll see out here, there's more of a solid line. That's the path the bus was already taking. And then this is the change that will be made to add him in. And it's only adding 1 minute to the bus duration. So then I can just click, I want him on bus 28 in the afternoon as well, and hit accept. And now he's going to show up. He'll be fully routed in the morning and the afternoon. So that's an easy way. If you have a student with a planned stop, you can easily add that to a trip. Now, obviously, not all of your students need to have transportation plans. You might have a student, that just is going from home to school and school to home. They have a pretty straightforward bus schedule. So in that case, you will see, if you could go to search and add, the checkbox up here will say something different. So in this case, it will say show all stops within walking distance, or you could make a new stop on the map. Now I could click any of these stops to see bus routes that go through that stop. But if I check this box, I'll see now a few more stops appear. These gray ones are all stops that are within walking distance. They might not have a route that goes to Corey's school, but they're all bus stops that already exist near his home. But the other option here is that I could just create a totally new stop for him on the map as well. So I could just click right over here, say I want to make him a brand new bus stop, and now I'll see that these different options appear for what bus that I could put him on. So say I want to put him on bus 5, and then I want him on bus 18. And you'll see now, again, we'll see the new routes appear for the adjustment that would be made. And you can see again how much time would be added to his to the bus's route. And in both cases, it's 0 minutes. So it's pretty straightforward. And again, you'll see we'll have his new bus schedule here. It has this red plus that tells us that stop is being added to the route. And then we can just click save, and he's going to be all set. Now, say that you've just added a bus schedule for this student. You might want to notify his parents and say, "Hey, your student has new bus records, new bus schedules." In that case, we could go up to the top of the page here and click on notification. So this would let us send a real-time notification just to this one student. You can choose if you wanted to go just to his primary contact or to all of his contacts. You could choose. You can always send it through email. If you'd like, you can also send it through text. That's an additional package you can add. And we could type whatever message we want. Here, I might just use the message template with today's bus schedules that will tell them exactly what the new bus schedule is for this child. So right from the student record, you can send that notification. You can also send them in bulk or by bus route. There's a whole bunch of different ways. So one of the last things we're going to talk about are some of our different reports that are available under the Students tab. We offer a whole bunch of built-in reports. They all contain, slightly different information and display it a little bit differently. But one of the most popular ones is here in the Students tab, and that's the student contact list. I'm a big fan of this report because it's really customizable. So you'll see you have all these different fields, and you can choose exactly what information you want to include. So you can say, I want all of this info, or I just want student name and ID and school, and maybe I want just their bus schedule. So then we would be able to just generate the report, and this will make a CSV report, which you can open up in Excel, and it will show you basically that student's bus schedule and whatever other info you choose to include. If you have user-defined fields, you can also include those on your, student contact list. So it's really customizable. It's really handy for a lot of different things. We also have recently added this report. It's called the Detailed Schedules report. So that is very similar to the student contact list, but it will actually let you, it will list each student bus schedule on a separate line within that spreadsheet. So if that's something that you might need for a different report, that's a really helpful one as well. So the one last thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit is tracking student ridership. So like Bob mentioned, this is something that a lot of districts are, really focusing on now, be it because of COVID and contact tracing, or just general student safety and security. A lot of schools want to be able to tell exactly where their students and their buses are at any given point. So we see a lot more schools that are using GPS devices with their buses and that are having students scan themselves on and off the bus. So you have a record and a timestamp of exactly when they boarded, when they got off the bus. So in this case, we're going to take a quick look at a student. Well, first, let me show you this filter that we have. So you'll see under your main filters menu, you have this selection for ridership. So you can see what students you have ridership data for. Say, I'm just going to pick for the past couple of days. You can see what students you have ridership data for. You can see what students you don't have data for. Or you could just pull up those students who have time records of them being on the wrong bus or boarding the bus at the wrong stop. So I'm going to take a quick look at Carol here. And you'll see that if you have a student whose ridership has been tracked, you'll have this option, this new tab down here called Ridership History. And you'll be able to see both on a calendar or in a list view, if you prefer the list, when that student was on the bus, when they were being picked up, which will be a green dot, and we'll have a green arrow here. And then when they're dropped off, which will be the red dot or the red arrow. So you'll see today Carol was picked up at home, dropped off at school, picked up at school, dropped off at home. And you can scroll back in the calendar and see exactly when that student had different ridership data. You could see a list down here that will tell you if that stop was unplanned. So I can see that on the 17th, there was an unplanned stop here. So that you'll know exactly what time they got on and off the bus, what vehicle it was, and exactly the location. So we found a lot of districts are really heading in this direction, and that's something you would be able to have them scan on and off using the QR code if you have our tablets or scanners. So I'm going to turn it over to questions, I believe, unless anyone has anything else they would like to add. Okay. So Sam, I wasn't sure if you wanted to field some of the questions, maybe pick out which ones you'd like to answer.
Got, let's see here. I think Nan answered a lot of these in the chat already. Yeah, so they're in the chat. And you just covered that. In the students tab, can you search the student and pull up the general information? Yes, you can. Let's start here. Nan, which questions would you like to field? Can you see the ones that we've got here?
Yeah, I think I answered most of them. And for one of the questions, I said if you want to set up a particular role for your dispatchers or teachers to view students' information, check the parents' contact phone numbers, they can set up a role just for them to view the information you give them permission. You can contact us through chats. You can email us at support@EZRouting.com. So we'll have our support team to assist you set up that role just correct for you.
A new message. Hold on a second.
This is Sue.
Hi, Sue.
Hi. Hey, I have a question on the possibility of exporting the entire rider list. Is that possible where we could print it off for different buildings, etc.?
Yes, that's something you would be able to do. I would probably suggest the student contact list report, but you would be able to filter kids first to get all your riders, and then you could filter them individually by school if you needed to get the reports by school. It might take a moment longer just to generate a report that has a few thousand students in it, but it should be able to do it pretty quickly.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, so I had a question about the video. I'm recording it right now. Yes, it'll be available. And also feel free to follow us on LinkedIn. We post updates on there from time to time. So you'll see, like we put our, Bob mentioned our Christmas video. We put our Christmas video up on the LinkedIn, and there's additional resources that you'll see there, also announcements and things like that.
Okay, then I'll turn it over to you, Sam. And if anyone else has any questions, we're happy to answer them.
Well, thank you. I think this is, I think we've just about got it. I'll leave it open for a few more questions, for another minute for additional questions. But great job, Kelly. Great job, Bob and Nan. I appreciate you guys. This is our second webinar Wednesday. We're trying to kind of get into the cadence of doing it. We're going to be doing this at least once a month on different topics. If you guys have a topic, by the way, that you'd like to see in the future, feel free to reach out to me, Bob, Nan, Kelly, Dale, anybody. Feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to do a video on that. This is a way that our entire team, our sales team and our support team get together and try to support our clients.
I have a quick question. It's about the request. When we have the request, and I had, you have the options to deny, decline, or accept the request. If I accept, because the kid is already routed, it showed me in the profile what the kid is, all information is withdraw. So because it's already routed, so we don't know, Joel is not here today, so we don't know how we can, because we still have a lot of requests when the kids are already routed. Some of them are not, so we look the information in the school tools, and we try to find out the way that we can do it. But every time we accept the request, it shows like it's withdrawal. Automatic. So we don't know why that's happening.
Okay, so is your change request from your student information system?
I'm sorry?
The change request is from your student information system?
Yeah.
Then it's just updating some information regarding the student. It could be the address, contact phone number, even the name of the students, right? It may not relate to your routing information. You may just want to accept the change and see if the student has a new address or a new school. If not, you don't have to touch anything about their bus schedules.
Yeah, no, we never touch the bus schedule. It's just as soon as I accept or view the request, I always work with a school tool to see if anything changed and compare everything. But no matter what, as soon as I open it and accept, it shows me withdrawal. That's what.
Oh, withdrawal. Okay. So withdrawal means we don't have the student's record from the last night's file from your school tool. That was your SS, right? So if we don't see the students in the last night file, we will mark them as withdrawn in EZRouting. So you then make a decision whether you want to delete the student, keep them as active, or contact school tool to see what happened to the student, why he or she is no longer in the file. If you notice any issue, you feel free to contact our support team. We can take a deeper look.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
This is Sue, and I heard during the meeting that you could have multiple tabs open at the same time, and I've not been able to duplicate that. I either get a student or routes, but only one at a time.
Yes. So what they were referring to is you can actually have multiple browser tabs open at once. Say like if you're using Chrome, you could have, let me just share my screen with you very quickly. Okay. Okay, so can you see my screen now?
I can see.
Yeah, we got you.
Right, okay.
So
you could just add new tabs up at the top of the screen here. So for example, if I want to look at students and then routes, I can right click on routes and click open link in new tab. And then I can have the students tab and the routes tab open at once, just in separate browser tabs. So that I do this literally like all the time. It's so convenient. Sometimes I'll have 5 different tabs open all within the same EZRouting site. So that it definitely makes it a lot easier to do things.
Let's do the same.
Yeah, that's super. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah, no problem. I know a lot of users don't realize you can do that. It'll save you a lot of time and a lot of headaches.
Yeah, there's a lot of buttons on EZRouting. When you right click, there's a drop down list for you to choose open in a different tab. So you can open the information in a different tab rather than jump directly to that tab, right? So that's super convenient when you have to work among different things.
Well, there's that one area you're going to walk away with. I said at the beginning here that hopefully there's going to be at least one area that you walk away with, and hopefully hopefully that's a very beneficial one. I do a lot too, Nan. I have, and Kelly, I have so many tabs open, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I've got them on
that's-
different monitors. I've got the same thing on different monitors. Yeah, different tabs.
that is
Yeah.
a time saver.
Mhm.
Thank you.
No
You're
problem.
welcome.
Great. And also we have the system message we just added. Kali, can you show that as well?
Yep,
So
just one second.
after today's meeting, after the recording is done, we're going to send the link to here. So you have access to all our previous webinars. When you have time, you want to refresh your mind on a certain topic, you can come here to see our webinar. For example, our Christmas webinar recording. This is the invite, and we have the recording for one of our previous webinars. And after this one, we're also going to send out a link to our YouTube channel. You can view the recording of today's webinar as well.
Yeah, that's
And you
what I
can-
was doing yesterday, watching all the videos from there, just to refresh everything. And today I realized I don't have the students. Even if you look in the right lower, when the message icon is, I don't have even that. I don't have anything.
Yeah, it's maybe
Okay.
related to your permission settings. I can take a look after this meeting.
Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah. So the system message you can find just by clicking on the person icon, and then right down towards the bottom of the list, right above the user guide, you'll see the system message. And this is where we tell you sometimes about new features coming out or updates to our apps, or just sometimes some general info as well. So that's all available for you there. And as Dan mentioned, we try to record all the webinars so people can go back and watch them if they'd like.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, does anyone else have anything they'd like to add? Any questions?
Who's buying lunch? That's a question.
Oh, you were, Bob.
It's always
No,
sales.
sorry.
It's always marketing.
Yeah,
right?
DoorDash for everybody. Well, this was really great. Thank you so much, Nan and Kelly. Thank you for everybody showing up. Great questions. Thanks for sitting in and just seeing it. And as Sam was saying, this is what we want to do. Is we want to just make aware. Sometimes you just don't know what's there. And you do something like this, it's going to be recorded. We showed you where it's going to be. Go to the system message. We'll have this on there shortly, and you can look at it, pause it, do whatever you want. Unfortunately, you can't pause me, but I guess you can. Sam can turn me off if he wants to. So thank you so much. This was actually something that we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure that all of the clients are aware. We also bring people who are looking at the program. So please, spread the word for us. Let the people know what this company's about. This company's about, solving solutions for you and having the best ways to do it. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking the time out of your day. And we look forward to the next WW Wednesday webinar.
Very much. And feel free to reach out to us with suggestions for future webinars. We'd love to entertain that, whether it be the routes tab or additional features on the tablet or whatever it is, we'd be happy to accommodate. Sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And this is a good setting for us to go in and teach new features, but also new ways of operating features that you already have. Thanks, everybody.
Once again,
Thank
thank
you.
you, everybody.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everyone.
care now.
Yeah, take care.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.